episode, this one, of the KJNA Podcast.
Let's call it mid-30s.
This is the episode of the KJNA Podcast where we're all sitting together and we're going to bullshit. And these motherfuckers are talking about some shit.
Oh yeah, we've so we went from our pregame episode, which is on Facebook right now,
and we do the live, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we're doing lives every week, but we do our live, and then we get into what we're going to do for our episode following that. But we didn't really have a specific topic.
That's fine, because that's what we did.
Yeah. So this is a freebie episode.
Freebie episode, yeah.
Where we're just going to jump around on tangents left and right, and you're just going to have to follow the crazy web that's inside our heads and map it out yourselves.
Yeah, deal with it.
Like the multiverse.
Yeah.
Yay!
And David's here.
Of madness.
Yeah, David's here.
Hey, you gotta get
Hello.
close. You gotta get close.
I don't want to get close.
I don't care if you don't want to get close. People have to hear you.
What the fuck
Hello
were y'all
there.
talking about that was wrong?
We're talking about, fuck.
Well,
We weren't talking about fucking.
First, we came in with IGN's article that said that 007 GoldenEye,
Is coming to Switch.
yeah,
Yes!
Switch
yes.
and Xbox Live Game Pass.
God damn it, yes.
So,
If they release it on all platforms, if Nintendo...
That's it.
would
Oh,
stop-
cross-platform?
would stop having a grip hold on it.
oh
my God.
yeah,
Yeah,
and if you didn't know, today's date as we're doing this is January 25th. So when this comes out, it'll be a little late, or we might just do it next week.
Yeah, who knows? It doesn't fucking matter because fucking GoldenEye
Was one of the
Oh my
best
God,
games
iconic.
on the friggin' 64 ever.
No, see, like nowadays, kids will sit and watch people on YouTube play video games, and you're like, "It's fucking ridiculous." But when we were kids, we sat around and watched our friends play, and vice versa. I mean, granted, we would play sometimes, and then they would play.
Oh yeah,
and back and forth.
that was the best thing because I think
That was our whole weekend.
Yeah, the Switch was like the first console that I remember having like 4 ports, so you could actually all play.
Switch.
Not the Switch,
The N64.
64. The 64.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the first system I remember
You know what
having.
I played the shit out of in that time? It was GoldenEye and fucking Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yep.
Those were my life.
Smash Brothers.
Oh, see, I didn't play as
That
much
was,
Smash
that was
Brothers.
a little later.
I love. Yeah,
it was a little later, but it was still on the Switch.
I like Smash
not the
Brothers.
Switch. God, gee, I can't.
in 64.
It's 64.
Yes, it was on the 64. I am sorry, but we're old, and there's been a lot of Nintendo
Nintendos.
systems.
Yeah.
So
I
bear with
played,
us.
I played so much GoldenEye. My friends would bring their cartridge to school, and I would take it home, and I would like unlock the 00 agent mode for them.
But see, that was the fun of playing games back in the day. Just like when you had Game Boys, you could literally be like, "Dude, I know you already have all the 150 Pokemon on your game.
Yeah. Could you
Look.
trade me some?
Could you just take mine and
Yeah.
unlock the secrets for me? Because I don't know shit.
Yeah.
Give them a weekend, bring it back to you on Monday. You got them all, bro.
Yeah.
I used
Fucking
to,
facts, I'm done.
No, because I remember it used to be like I played the original. I had the original Pokemon Red.
Yes.
And, you could only get Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander through trading.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, you could get every other Pokemon and all of them. The only difference was the starter Pokemon.
Yep.
That was how you traded shit.
And they're still putting it out in similar fashions, I feel like.
Yeah.
I remember my best friend. He started before me, so when I finally got the smaller one, was a Game Boy Pocket or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I got Pokemon Fire, the red version, and then I just like was calling him every night. I'm like, no, I don't got that one. He's like, oh, you got to go in a little arcade jank. You go through the poster. There's an Eevee back there, bro. I'm like, oh shit, hell yeah.
But that was also when Eevee only had, like, 4 evolutions.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Like,
But I mean, it was
dark
all.
or any of that shit.
It was you either had to know somebody who knew the secrets, or you had to go to like the game store and buy that thick manual.
Yeah, the fucking game guide.
You couldn't just Google shit back in the day.
Once upon a time, Game Informer actually put codes in the back of their magazine.
I specifically still have a Nintendo Power magazine.
Really?
From when the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game came out for Nintendo.
Ooh.
And you remember, now that was a good one. That shit was hard as fuck.
I mean, the
you had
arcade version were fucking tight as hell.
Not even the arcade version. I'm talking about the
I'm just
like,
saying,
side
both of them.
scrolling.
Yeah.
And then like if your turtle died, you had to go into the right area because they had the overworld view where you'd go into like warehouses or whatever and find the turtles who were captured.
Right.
And then there was the one zone where you were under the water and you had to go defuse all the bombs. You had like 30 minutes, literally 30 minutes to go through this whole area and find all the bombs and defuse them. And it was hard as shit. Like if you ever played Battletoads,
Every
Yeah,
single
ages
game
ago.
back in the day had an underwater level, and it was always so fucking hard.
yeah, the underwater level was always a pain in the ass. But I mean, that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game was actually really good. I enjoyed that.
I think they brought out a whole collection of all the turtle games that have ever been.
I remember that the Sonic music when you're about to drown. Where's the fucking air bubble?
Where's the bubble? God damn it! Oh my
It
god!
was some good, there were some really good games that came out for some of these systems. I can't really remember a lot from the Sega. Was it Sega CD?
I
No,
never
Dreamcast. Dreamcast.
I played
never
it
got
at
into
friends'
Dreamcast.
houses, but it was it Sega Saturn?
Yeah,
And
it was
then
Sega Saturn. And it was
Sega
Sega
CD.
CD.
And then Dreamcast, Sega CD. It was like the attachment that jammed in the side of the
Yeah,
shit.
I remember Sega CD only because there was one game I played, and it was one of those games where you had to tap the directions
Yeah.
on the pad or hit the button on the time, and it was like, I maybe someone else is remembering it, but I remember it was specifically you were a dude in basically a Porsche. And it was like watching an anime, but you had to keep control of the thing because it was like, dude was in a Porsche, a bunch of guys killed his girlfriend, and they were like on their wedding day or something. And so she had this white dress with a like a brooch on it that was a flower. And so the main scene of it was the brooch on the ground on the road with a big chunk of flesh on it.
Jesus.
Yeah, like a big chunk of bloody flesh. And the whole game was nothing but like push right at the right, when the right light shines, or push left when the left side. And that was the whole fucking game. I can't even think to remember what the name of that game was. But I remember at the time I was like, "This is the hardest game of my entire fucking life." That was the only thing I played on Sega CD. That was it.
Shit, back then, you'd be lucky if you made it a whole year before your system was just completely outdated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
Do-
they were jumping nonstop.
Now, do you guys remember? I bought this, and I only had 2 games for it. But there was this game called it was a console called the TurboGrafx 16.
Never heard of her.
I
It didn't have
it does
cartridges.
sound slightly familiar.
exactly.
It didn't
sounds
have
familiar.
cartridges. It had chips. It had like chips. They were shaped probably like credit cards, but they like smaller credit cards. But they had like the thing at the end, like the inside of the cartridges had.
Yeah.
I remember there was only 2 games I had for that shit, and I don't even remember playing it more than like a month or 2. But we had one because my grandmother was like over 50, a fucking computer programmer, super into video games. Like she and I would both be so excited when a new Final Fantasy was coming out.
But that feels like a large majority of people have followed the Final Fantasy series.
But like she's the reason I'm getting a Chrono Trigger tattoo.
Okay.
Because specifically because listen to me, hear me out. That face you're making, David.
I'm just messing with you.
My grandmother we and her were both looking forward to Chrono Trigger so bad. Like we wanted Chrono Trigger so bad. She got cancer and got really, really sick right before it came out. And throughout my entire young childhood, I was playing video games or she was playing video games, and I would sit and watch her play like Legend of Gaia, Final Fantasy, like all that Super Nintendo shit. She played the hell out of it, and I sat and watched her. And then when she got super sick, she couldn't play. Chrono Trigger came out, and I sat and played Chrono Trigger. She was watching me from her hospital bed before she passed away. So that is Chrono Trigger I'm getting it tattooed. Like that means a lot to me because fuck, my grandma was awesome. Bam, Carol Bragg, what's up?
So yeah, I think a lot of games kind of like fell to the wayside, and I feel like it's terrible. Like especially if they had like a whole series of games.
RPGs used to be the shit.
Like Legends of Dragoon to me was one of the best.
That was a good one.
That was one of my favorite freaking games.
Breath of Fire was really good.
The first Xenogears.
Yeah, the first Xenogears, because all the rest of them were fucking garbage.
Y'all only,
Zone of the Enders.
Y'all only really fuck with
I didn't really play
PC back then, but King's Quest and
No, I played King's Quest.
Police Quest was my shit.
I played King's Quest, and do you
that's not
remember Legend of Camelot? King Arthur's Quest?
That sounds familiar. But
It was similar to the vein of King's Quest, but you were King Arthur, and I remember specifically they had like the riddle stones you had to get through, and you had to answer riddles for each one. And they
Okay,
also had
yeah,
this
yeah.
book called the Liber Ex Doctrina.
The worst thing ever is if you accidentally go to an area you didn't want to go to.
Yeah, not too early.
You got to change the disc,
Yep.
the fucking floppy disk, and then go back to the other side.
And you
then
couldn't-
change the disc out
Yep.
again. Like, God
And
damn
you
it.
couldn't fucking if you and those are the type of games where if you didn't do it in the order, you were fucked.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't beat the game. You had to start over. And like King's Quest, I remember they had that Liber Ex Doctrina book. It was this thick ass book that like in order to solve a lot of the riddles in the game, you had to read through that book. Like look through it and find the answers or whatever the answer was, because that was the type of game where you'd walk up to a person, you'd be like, talk to blah 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 blah.
Yeah, my mom had this
Touch,
had this
blah, blah,
like
blah.
so many printouts of like police manuals and shit to try to help her get through Police Quest, that like learn about like what to type in when you're coming up to certain places.
Oh, I never. Yeah,
crazy.
I do remember King's Quest 4. That was when they had the Isle of Wonder.
Yes.
The Isle of. I remember I kept getting stuck because I wouldn't go to the Isle of Wonder early enough with the caterpillar,
Oh,
and so I kept getting stuck and I couldn't figure out. And I kept calling
Those
the
were
hotline.
The books everywhere and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kept calling the hotline, and the hotline would be like, to get to blah, 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 get to blah, blah, and it costed like $3 a minute. And I was calling my ass off at that place because I could not figure out how to be.
Hints.
Yeah, I kept getting the hints from the phone line. That, showing my age. That's for damn sure from my landline.
There was like a little piece of a note you needed in the spider web, and that bitch kept
Yep.
biting you. Like, God damn it!
How do I do it?
Kill this fucking spider already.
I remember getting to the castle one time at the very end. I wonder if I can find a mod of that.
I wish they would re-release it
totally
on
play
any.
Because I saw a lot of the newer King's Quests, and they are nowhere near like what.
I played the new King's Quest as soon as it went from like the standard to like a 3D first person thing, and it wasn't great.
Yeah, I didn't think. I liked. They did that, and they also did. Oh, what was the Monkey, Super Monkey Island or Monkey Island, Legend Treasure of Monkey Island or something like that.
Yeah, they're trying to capitalize on the flavor of it, but
But that was also the same, pretty much the same thing. Like they were really funny about like anything you said. Like you had to type in. It was almost like a Zork. Do you
Yeah.
remember Zork?
it sounds familiar.
Zork was the one where it was all text based, and you walk up to a White House, and there's a gate around
Yes.
it.
Okay.
You could actually play that whole fucking game on Call of Duty Black Ops.
Really?
Yeah, if you went up to the computer in the main screen and typed in Zork, you could play the whole fucking game of Zork on the computer.
It's just like now it's like every single game on like Super Nintendo, every game on Nintendo and Super Nintendo ever made, you can get on like a tiny little fucking download
Dude,
or.
I think I said one of my buddies for a groomsman gift. He made me. He asked me like 6 months beforehand. What's your favorite Nintendo game? I was like the original Nintendo. I was like fucking Zelda. Because they had the gold, the gold disc and shit. You were like,
Oh, yeah.
this is so fancy, right? That motherfucker ordered one offline, completely soldered and made a a thing out of it where I had the original Zelda disc or Zelda cartridge, and inside of it you can attach to your TV, and it also came with like 2 controllers, and it has every Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Atari game ever made on this one cartridge, and I can play it anytime I fucking want.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, that's the best day of my life. And I use save state to beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts because fuck that game. That game is hard as a motherfucker. I beat it. I went through the whole game twice with save state. I'm not ashamed of it. That shit was hard.
I think
nothing wrong with it.
I think Zelda has continuously gotten better with age, though.
Oh.
It has, except for Wind Waker.
I haven't played a bunch of the new ones though, but
Breath of the Wild was fucking amazing. They had
Ocarina
another
of
one
Time.
coming.
Ocarina of Time and the one after I played. And
I believe
think
it's
I missed that on all the...
Majora's Mask.
Yeah, Majora's Mask was
Yeah.
okay. It was okay.
Breath
Ocarina
of the
of Time
Wild
is
was-
fucking
was-
Breath of the Wild was fucking amazing.
pretty epic.
What was the other one? Skyward Sword was meh.
I honestly have not played as Zelda since Breath of the Wild.
Well, that was before, but they're about to come out with another one.
Oh lord.
But let me I loved Breath of the Wild though, man. I had so much fun with that game. So much fun. When you
one-
started beating the Lionels without taking damage, you felt like the biggest badass in the world.
I feel like Nintendo kind of fell behind on the arms race. And-
Yeah, they
and
did fall behind on the arms race,
Now,
but
now they're just capitalizing on their classic collection.
yeah, but
That's
at
pretty
the
fun.
same time, their Switch was really revolutionary despite that.
Right. I mean, it's
Like-
not only a stationary system, but it's also a
Portable
Portable
system.
system.
That wasn't like when Sega came out with the Sega Nomad, and you had to put 10 fucking batteries in
was
it, and
so
it
good,
lasted
though.
like 30
maybe,
minutes.
Yeah, maybe 2 hours.
which
if
is
you're lucky.
which is
Yeah.
basically the half-life for any portable game system when it first came out back in the day.
Yeah.
Nowadays, since you have the ability to just charge an internal battery, that sucker lasts hours.
Yeah.
Well, now with
like your
now with
phones
cell
can
phones,
fucking...
a portable gaming system is just obsolete.
Yeah, because I actually have an emulator on my phone that I paid for,
Right.
so I can play NES games on my phone any fucking time I want to. It's really nice. Like I played Ghouls and Ghosts. I played like A Boy and His Blob. I don't know if y'all remember that shit. The original.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
The original Boy and His Blob, because it was one of those games where you had to figure out exactly how to beat that fucking game. You had jelly beans that you would feed your blob, and your blob would turn into different things. Like, you feed him the ketchup one, and he teleports to you. You feed him, the chocolate flavored one, turns into a ladder. Like, that was the whole fucking game. And you had to find all the treasures in the map. That was the game.
No, I'll tell you when it fell to the wayside. It was a fighting game
Uh-huh.
that I don't think there's been a new one in like almost a decade.
Are you about to say fucking Beast?
Bloody Roar?
Bloody Roar.
Yes.
Yeah. You talked about that shit before.
I don't
love
care.
Bloody Roar.
I fucking loved it. Fucking loved that shit. to
I
death.
loved Killer Instinct, but after the
Killer
second
Instinct was
one,
a-
I was like, mm-mm.
No. So you look at fighting games now. Your longest running are Street Fighter
And Mortal Kombat.
and Tekken.
Yeah.
They're your top three.
Yeah.
Bloody Roar deserved that same length because they had an onslaught of animals that they could have picked from.
Yeah.
They just
Onslaught.
They just chose not to go into detail. They were just trying to get it out as fast
The
as
story
possible.
was not terrible once you got into the story of it, but how many people are actually going to a fighting game for a story? You don't get to a story until they start making actual like animated series or movies.
No, you know
about
what? I played like I said, Killer Instinct.
it. Yeah, I mean,
Killer Instinct, I remember that was one of the few games I went to the fucking arcade. And you know those when people were setting up quarters and shit?
Oh, yeah.
I was the one guy who was up there kicking everybody's ass with fucking B Orchid. Because I could hit that 32-hit combo, the biggest combo in the game. Pop, 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 pow, super ultra, la, la, la. Fuck you.
yeah. See, you had that.
Killer Instinct. That was the only time I wanted to fight a game.
Now, if I was on Bloody Roar, Long, the Tiger, I could hit that same fucking combo with that motherfucker because he had a damn near infinite combo because it was Wing Chun style.
Well, the only reason that was like what's his name from Tekken with the feet, where all you had to do was hit the kick buttons 100 times. Eddie Gordo.
Yeah,
Yeah, Eddie Gordo was the motherfucker that people would come in, they just hit those kick buttons, and he'd be like, wah, 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 wah,
Oh,
and
you
he
mean?
couldn't get near him.
Oh, you basically mean like Chun Li?
Yeah, essentially.
Ooh.
Or E Honda.
I think
100 hand slap.
I think a lot of genres really fell behind and haven't gotten a lot of love lately since Call of Duty and first-person shooters really took off, and now everybody's
give me like
focusing
a-
on that.
I mean, like, Smash Brothers, I think, is still popular right now.
Yeah.
And you know what was really good? I like Marvel vs. Capcom. That one was pretty
Yeah,
fun.
that's a decent series. They actually did a different one that was on the.
I like all those ones where you can
The Wii?
once you get to a certain point, the teammates come in and do like the super blast move.
Yeah, with you. Like, I never really fully got into it, but I did enjoy the art style
Yeah.
and I love just a classic, really well done 2D games.
It was Capcom versus an anime company.
TNK, SNK. There was
It was-
one
it
that
was-
was SNK and
Soul Calibur.
No. Even though Soul Calibur has been good, I think the last installment, though, I think kind of fucked me up with the way they did their editing for your character.
I think I prefer the 2D style instead of like being
Yeah.
able to like roll left and roll right.
Yeah, I don't give a shit
like
about
the just
that.
forward, back, up, down. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like even with the video games nowadays, like just the classic 2D that I really enjoy a randomization. And that's why I don't really play a whole lot of fighting games. Like I don't know if y'all ever played. It's free right now if you wanted to download it on a computer. Spelunky.
Never heard of her.
If y'all never played that, it was a randomized dungeon. Every time you had to go through 5 dungeons, and it was randomized every time. And there were like so many different items you could pick up. Like everything was random, so every run you did was just you hope you had a good run and you were able to make it through, and that you had enough stuff to kill the bad guys and get to the end and beat the boss. But like I remember there was one special area in there that was the golden room, the Midas room. And in order to get like you had to find the idol of the eye in area 1. And then when you get to area 2, you had to be able to go into this door and get there. And then when you get to this door, you had to go to the 3rd vendor to get this in order to get the Midas room. And then you get to the Midas room, and the entire room is filled with nothing but gold. And like even the walls are made of gold. And so you can blow up everything. But at that point, I had flight. I had infinite bombs, and so I blew up the whole fucking room, got all the gold, got to the end, blew the fuck up out of the boss, beat it one time, and I swear to God, I did over 1,000 runs of that game, just trying to get that one perfect run. But like the randomization is what gets me on video games. Like I love like Minecraft. I like the randomization. I like exploring and seeing what's new on the shit. What other games are good with randomness? Even Fortnite, the items you pick up are random. The way
say
your
the same
stuff.
thing with open sandbox games.
Yeah, I love the randomness because it gives you so much replayability. I really like that stuff.
Like I said, give me a game where I can openly explore and customize my character.
Oh, I got another one for you. That's really good. That's on Steam right now. Noida. I don't know if you. I mean, it's a computer game strictly, but it's Noida. But the whole thing is it's a randomized dungeon every time. But when you go in, you find wands, and the wands are randomly filled with different parts of spells. So sometimes you'll have a wand where you're like, oh, I shoot this off, and it destroys any dirt in front of it, and it destroys monsters instantly on contact or whatever. But then sometimes you'll find one where you use the wand because you're unsure what it does when you get it.
Huh.
You use it, and it blows everything up around you, and you die. Oops. Tough shit. Oops. And you also can, like, grab vials and pick up water or whatever liquid is on the ground, and sometimes you'll pick up liquid and be like, oh, this is dirt, and then you can get your character to drink it, and he throws up, and then suddenly you're picking up stuff with a vial, and you're like, oh, it has some vomit in there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got some blood in there too. Ooh.
No.
But it's really fun. Like the randomization and learning how to play the game is part of the fun of playing the game. And then once you learn how to play the game, you just hope that you get a good run.
Right.
After that. And I really like that. That gives it so much replayability. Sorry, I feel like I've been going off for a while.
What else? We were talking about Iron Man.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Robert Downey Jr. Outside.
Were we?
Yeah. You were like.
You were trying to get us to stop.
Yeah, I was trying to get you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
because y'all were trying to have a conversation. I'm like, wait, we gotta record.
Yeah, so I think as soon as he got done posting our current episode, which is 33, we decided I saw this picture of Robert Downey Jr. I guess during one of his arraignments
When he
at
was
court.
strung out.
Well, now this is ages
Is he
ago.
strung out again?
No,
Or
he's
not?
no.
Okay,
This
that
is
was an old one.
Ages
Okay.
ago. No.
Before Iron Man.
Yes, before Iron
Okay.
Man, pre-Iron Man. So a lot of people probably don't even know that Robert Downey Jr. had a whole career before Iron Man.
Yeah, and he was like no one trusted him, from what I understand. This is just what I read. that no one trusted him. Like they had to pay him half before and half after,
Right.
because he would like take all the money and then just not do the rest of the work
Yeah.
and
But
spend it on
this is
drugs
also
and shit.
young Robert Downey Jr., who is a, teenager going into his adult phase. So once you're in the limelight like that, it's
I love cocaine.
yes.
Yes, he did.
So the party scene grabs you, and you go with it because at that point it's like my life's already out there in the open. These people are saying I should have fun. I'm gonna have fun.
All right, fuck it.
Yeah. So his early career, good, and he got him a lot of good points, but at the same time, it also got him a lot of bad points.
I mean,
He spent a little time in jail,
yeah.
but then when he came back, guess what? He came back hard, and he came
Yeah.
back way stronger.
I'm glad he grew up a little bit, like
Oh.
with Iron Man and shit. I'm
Yes.
glad. I think he's coming. I think
It was
they
a-
said he's
it was a
doing a couple
mirroring-
things with the newer.
It was a mirroring of his life.
yeah, yeah.
Because Tony goes through that shitty phase after, coming to this high point in his life. Gets kidnapped, has to,
Come to Jesus.
and then he comes back as Iron Man and he puts himself on a path of, I guess, what you would call
Righteousness. Yeah, yeah.
And, tries to redeem himself. But then he falls off the horse in the second movie.
Yeah,
Drinking.
trying to make. I mean, but it's one of those noble purposes, but done the wrong way.
Right.
Like, but that's also the cast of good villains. Like, they have a good
Roster.
end goal,
Right.
but their way of getting to it makes you a villain.
Which is why I love Marvel's villains.
Yeah.
They are not people who are just given power.
They're not people? What?
The only person that I feel is one that should not have been given power is Johann Schmidt. He was a dick. he was already a Nazi to begin with.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate he
Yeah.
got power, but it happened. And look at him now. He's stuck on Vormir. If you didn't know,
That sucks.
sucks, to be,
Sad day.
sucks to be you, nerd. You wanted it so bad. Guess where you're looking at? You're looking at a fucking lifetime of servitude to the stones.
Yeah, yeah. But guarding the Mind Stone. Good
Yeah.
for you, buddy.
Yeah.
He raw dogged that cube like the power of the sun. Oh shit, I'm gone.
But see, that's a perfect example. Dr. Octopus did not ask for what happened to him. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Like most of the characters in Spider-Man's comic books, it's all accidental.
Well, he was trying to be nice and create unlimited energy for humanity. And
Yeah.
then it was like, oh, this thing in my neck broke. I'm a bad guy now.
Yeah, and
see,
it was through the neck, and it was
that's the
because-
that's the MCU, but in the comic books, it's slightly different.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we'll go with the MC. Hey.
Oh, he's getting very.
Because more. Because
No,
more.
Go ahead. I don't actually know the
No, but
comic canon version of how
you have to nowadays. The MCU holds more.
more sway,
more
as far
clout
as-
than the
yeah.
comics.
as far as
Even though
how
you know,
much
if
things
you
are
go to a
canon.
comic book primary fan, you are going to get that backlash of, man, that's not right.
You'll get
That's
the guy
not,
from
that's
The
not how it
Simpsons.
happened.
Actually,
Yeah, you get comic book guy. You'll get comic book guy.
Actually, if
And-
you
but
Pay attention to.
don't get it twisted. They know the lore. I know people on TikTok, King Lion, primarily, who defends his point on all these characters. Like, I'm not saying that Batman is bullshit, but Batman's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
T'Challa, on the other hand,
Badass.
T'Challa owns galaxies.
Yeah.
That man's ruling over galaxies, man.
With that vibranium. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Whole solar systems under Wakanda. So anyway, Spider-Man villains, Electro.
So what is Dr. Octopus from the comics origin story?
yes.
Please tell me.
It. No,
No. Too late. You dug yourself in.
No, because I honestly, I know that it's not him working with Harry Osborn to make a,
To make an infinite energy source.
right. It's not that. It's not that. I know that for a
Yeah,
fact.
because in the Marvel universe, he used it. He only had the octopus arms as a way to
Grasp the
contain
ball of power, yeah.
the
Yeah, he was containing the
mini
energy.
sun.
No, his unit was, once again, it's to do what two arms can't do.
Yeah,
But it's not like they have an artificial intelligence. Because this was back in the 60s when this came out, so there was no artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
He just literally was like, as soon as they got grafted to him, crying.
My alarms are cold.
like when we saw in The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield in number 2 when Electro or Dylan,
Yeah.
Max Dillon
Yeah,
falls
yeah.
into the tank of Electric Eels. They decided to use bioengineering instead of just he was a electric engineer who was on a friggin' pole working on wiring and got hit by lightning and gained superpowers. That was
I
what
want
happened.
superpowers like that.
Electricity on top of electricity.
Exactly.
What up?
Like he got grounded. Boom.
Too much. It's too much.
Instead of just being baked, he got superpowers.
Right.
Let's try it.
I mean, again, the Rhino is literally just a guy in a freaking suit.
Rhino suit.
Yeah.
Who's a badass.
It's kind of grafted to his skin, though.
Oops.
Yeah. But apparently, at some point, he does get it removed. He was a good guy for a while.
Was he?
Yeah, it was.
No, we'll see. I don't know all the comic stories. But
Well, that in the new show, that Bat guy turns him into actual Rhino, doesn't he?
You talking about Jackal?
Yeah.
He's not a bat.
He's a bat.
Miles
what are
Warren
you
is not a
talking
bat.
about? What are you talking about?
Just let me call him the Bat guy. Okay?
Okay. So, there's been several cartoon iterations of Spider-Man. And
Yeah.
in the last one, Miles Warren played a huge role. Now, Miles Warren, in the comics, was a college professor, and two of his students, Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker, had that whole run-in with Green Goblin. Gwen Stacy dies. Miles kind of goes a little more insane because he also had a huge crush on Gwen.
Right.
So he starts going into cloning. And he ends up cloning
Gwen.
Peter.
Oh, Peter.
Peter and Gwen.
Oh, a clown
But
Peter.
in finding...
Spider clone. Spider clone.
Exactly. That starts the whole clone saga
Yeah.
in the comic books. But then Miles says, as he's perfecting his cloning technology, he's like, I can make it better me too. So he ends up making a genetically better version of himself. But he also slightly mutates it to kind of look like a jackal.
A jackal.
Yeah,
It's a jackal.
He's got wings, though, don't he?
no, he don't got wings.
In the comic thing, he's got wings.
He's got claws. He
Maybe-
doesn't have wings. He don't
Maybe
fly.
I'm combining characters, okay?
You're-
I don't
you're-
think a better me involves claws.
He wanted to make himself a predator. So,
I mean, a better me would probably involve wings, because flying is better.
all right, man, bat.
I didn't say my arms were wings.
Man, bat.
I just had wings on my back.
Angel.
Yes.
Yeah.
More like angel. Okay.
Look what happened to him.
And then...
Apocalypse said, "You shall be my horseman."
No.
The metal wings were badass. Don't even lie.
They were badass. The
Yeah,
metal wings were badass.
Archangel
Yeah.
was way better than Angel.
Yes.
Because he can
Yes.
actually use those freaking
Wings.
feathers as daggers.
Yeah.
His original form in the other movie, where he was just a crybaby, that was just ridiculous. I gotta cut my wings off because I don't.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
Daddy doesn't like wings.
X3 The Last Stand was not a great X-Men
No,
movie.
I don't fucking talk about the X-Men.
Even X-Men Apocalypse.
I don't
was
watch
not
any
a
of the X-Men.
Great X-Men movie.
No.
I'm sorry, Oscar Isaac. Don't get it twisted. You've played Moon Knight. Great role.
Moon Knight was great.
You're playing Spider-Man 2099 in the new Spider-Verse movie.
I can't
Don't
wait!
don't get it twisted. But your Apocalypse, don't get it twisted,
Not the greatest.
was not great.
Horseshit.
Apocalypse in the comics.
No more bombs. Stop it.
And Apocalypse in the 1990s cartoon series were a definitive Apocalypse. I don't know what they made you do.
What did they do to you, man?
They gave me a lot of money.
And I am so sorry they made you do it.
I'm so sorry, buddy. Oh, no.
Hugh Jackman, on the other hand, praise all.
Praise Wolverine.
Praise Wolverine.
Praise Wolverine. He's a good Wolverine.
Praise Hale, praise Dale.
Jimmy Howlett. Jimmy Howlett for life.
Oh, God.
Ryan Reynolds, also. You're doing great, guy.
Deadpool.
Doing great,
Right
guy.
on point. You know what? Even I didn't like any of the X-Men movies, to be honest. But the dude who played Cyclops was a good Cyclops.
No.
Jason or James Martin?
I mean, he looked the
Yeah,
part.
I just didn't like how they made him like real clingy and bitchy.
Yeah, he was absolutely bitchy and clingy, but the dude who played him looked like a good
Yeah,
Cyclops.
I give you that one. Yeah.
Famke Jensen is Jean Grey.
Oh yes.
Yep.
And Sir Patrick Stewart.
No,
And now
That's
that is
Professor
always
Xavier.
You know-
that is always
you know,
Professor.
she was in Goldeneye.
Oh, yes, I do. Killing people with them thighs. Lady. Thick thighs save lives. And also in them. If you use them right. Don't get it twisted. Every single person that she killed had a smile on their face. For a good goddamn reason. I mean, they were rushing. I was going to be all like, but no, don't do that.
Duh.
Don't do that. You can do that. That's perfectly fine.
Thank you, Famke.
I mean, I think they had some good casting. I think the problem was, to me, was like you didn't start with like the core team that really shaped the X-Men for future.
Oh, when does Wakanda Forever come out on?
It's already on the Disney Plus right now.
I need to watch that right now tomorrow.
So Wakanda Forever. If you
Tomorrow.
didn't, is
right now tomorrow.
If you didn't
I thought
know,
it was February.
no, January 20th.
Fucking need
It's
to
already
watch
out.
that.
It came out last
I haven't
Friday.
watched it yet. I need to watch it.
I watched it already.
Why are we not watching it right now?
Because your sister wants to watch everything that we haven't watched.
Why are we not watching it right now? It's time to end this episode. I gotta watch Wakanda Forever.
This guy over here. I mean, the X-Men movies weren't bad. I think for X-Men First Class really redeemed.
I can't wait to see what they
Sorry,
do
First
with
Class
those
was
shorts that are on Disney Plus.
If they do the right team, I want them to start with Beast,
Uh-huh.
Iceman,
Morph.
Cyclops.
Yes, Morph was in the start.
Morph was in the start of the animated series.
Yeah.
But guess what?
That's the only one that matters.
No, because they're remaking the animated series, so he can be a part of the start for that series, but no, not for the movies. No.
Are they making it like Teen Titans Go?
They better not.
X-Men Go?
No, it's the same animation team.
I like Teen Titans Go.
Is it
And-
from the
and-
original?
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of the stuff from the original is coming back. I hope they do that. Now if they slightly update it, I will be like, ooh, yes. Jubilee's a great character, but like, once
She
again,
needs to be in it.
firecrackers. But then they were like, we're gonna make her a vampire too, in the comics.
Why?
Why not?
She had no powers.
Jubilee and Rogue need to just not be in there.
Jubilee, Rogue, Gambit, Cyclops, Beast,
whoa,
Jean
whoa,
Grey.
whoa.
Yeah, I said it.
He's going with like original lineup from the
Animated
animated
series.
show.
Yeah.
There was
That's what
only
it needs to be.
five. There was only five
Wait,
actual
that's-
Iceman,
X-Men.
you talking about?
That's people you want in it? Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you were...
Nah,
I heard,
if they're-
I heard Gambit, I was like, don't you talk about Gambit.
No, I'm not talking about Gambit. Gambit's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But let's see, like it's gonna have Beast, Cyclops, Iceman.
If you're gonna use Hugh
think
Jackman's
Iceman-
Logan in Deadpool 3 and have this be like a
That's supposed
kind
to be
of,
his, like, farewell, isn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be his farewell. That's what he says. But
but then again, Logan was his farewell too.
Yeah.
So
Which I haven't even seen Logan either.
good, it's so good.
Is it?
It's so good. It's
Because
like-
I really liked
it's-
I liked Old Man Logan,
Oh.
the comic.
oh,
Well, I think Logan was supposed to be...
it was supposed to be his last hurrah.
Because they talked him back into it, and now he's got to, like, get in the gym for, like, 6 months to get back into shape for Deadpool.
Right.
But this is
I was eating all these shrimp, Mike.
but remember that seafood is so much
Australian
lighter.
It's all protein.
It's all protein. It's not fat because they constantly move it.
That's the only Australian joke I know, okay?
I was eating all these strips off the barbie. Cocky.
Sorry, Australia.
But if you do it right, you can have Jean Grey, Cyclops, Beast, Angel, Iceman, and Professor X be your core players for the first part.
Okay.
But then the second movie, they find the Eternal's body has
The
now
Infinity
become
Stones.
no. The
He's
Eternals.
become his own island.
The Eternals. If you haven't seen the Eternals, there was an Eternal growing out of Earth.
Yeah, it was terrible.
But
Terrible.
say an island,
Terrible movie.
say an island forms around it, and the consciousness
Island
of
Dr.
that,
Moreau.
and the island absorbs the consciousness of that former Eternal.
Yeah.
It becomes a living island,
Is it a little baby?
and
It's just a baby.
it basically kidnaps the first team of X-Men, and they have to form the secondary team, which did include Wolverine, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Storm, Thunderbird.
I love Nightcrawler. He's one of my favorite X-Men.
Hotspot.
Because my brother was a bitch and always had to be like the best character. So he always had Wolverine. And I was like, well, fuck it. I'm
Nightcrawler, bitch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bamf!
I'll be teleporting all over.
Bamf, bitch!
but once again,
Bamf!
remember
I
when,
only need
when,
three
when
fingers.
when Nightcrawler was first introduced, his power only worked where he could see because he was not trying
That's
to
why
pop into walls.
That's why when Azazel came out, I was like, this is my new Nightcrawler. It's upgraded in.
I was always torn between Nightcrawler and Colossus.
Colossus
Upgrade.
stands as one of my favorite X-Men outside of Wolverine because, Wolverine has the healing factor. He's got the freaking metal bones. So,
Yeah.
everybody was going to love him.
Only,
because
only if it's the up armored version. The one that's constant metal is fucking retarded.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Deadpool Colossus because
He's just a constant.
He's just
big
walking
guy.
around metal all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
That did happen, but that was like a psychological block thing. And the same thing happened to Iceman too in comics. But he also had a freaking.
But he was also
crater
like
in
covered
his chest.
He was also covered in snow at one point.
That was when he first started.
Yeah, he was floating
But
snow,
when-
and he was like, "Oh, ice is
He was
cooler."
Jack
But
Ross.
with
Yeah.
with more.
He was a walking snowman.
Yeah, but once he finally got his powers under control,
Yeah.
he could create ice, and that was the whole thing. It was like, look
Now
at
I'm
me.
ice body.
Whee!
Yeah. Look at me!
But he
I'm
was-
making
he
a
was-
sled.
I forgot how he got that crater in his chest, but I tell you what, when that shit happened, he was stuck like that for a wow.
Just a giant hole in his chest?
He had a freaking crater in his chest. It was a crater. Like, I don't know how deep it was, but it was like almost to his freaking back.
Okay, but what if we
I don't know anything
take
about that.
What if we take Iceman?
Someone Googling?
What if we take
My phone
Iceman
likes to
off the team?
try to think we are.
We're gonna take Iceman off the team,
Uh-huh.
and we're gonna add Frozone.
Stop it.
Look, just because
Where's my super suit?
just so you can throw in the voice of Samuel L. Jackson under the snow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Woman, where's my super suit?
I'm the greatest good you'll ever know.
That was a little too hype. Even for you, Sam Jackson. I didn't hear a motherfucker once in that goddamn movie. But
right,
you know what?
I think-
That's perfectly fine.
I think we bullshitted plenty.
We had so many topics, but we just
We
Well,
just
we
remained on it.
boiled
We
it
always
down.
stick towards fucking Marvel.
It always falls
It
to Marvel.
always falls to
It
Marvel.
falls to Marvel. You know why it falls to Marvel? Because they're the longest. I feel like they're one of the longest lasting comic book companies that came out of everything besides DC.
Mm-hmm.
DC, what I've heard,
Work on it.
get better.
you're fucking up.
Get
You
good.
You can't just base your entire series of comics upon
Batman and Superman.
It can't be that.
Yeah.
You have so many other good characters.
I love DC, but goddamn, get
That makes one of us.
The Flash. That's the only redeeming quality
Yes.
of the whole thing.
Get
The
it.
Flash.
Get good, DC. All right. We're
Anything
gonna
on that
fucking
note?
David, thank you for attending today.
It's about nice.
Come back again. We need to have more episodes like
It's
this.
fun, nice. All right, we'll see you next time.
But you can also find us.
Oh, yes, that's right.
right.
Yeah, at the KJNA podcast at gmail.com. And then also the KJNA community where we talk a bunch of shit on Facebook.
Facts. So, we're on Facebook. You know we have an email. But you can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, and
Yep.
Instagram.
Yep.
At KJNA Podcast. So, if you're looking for little morning affirmations that help you get through the day, we got you.
Jay's great about that.
I like to try to keep
Every
people
morning.
motivated because it's a hard world out there and it ain't getting no easier.
And we're
So-
going to make it as positive as possible.
Hells yeah!
Yeah.
So let's go!
See you next time, people. Bye!
Ah!